So about the verse on the precious human life, that concluding, it said, "A precious human life is gained this once. Do not let it slip through your fingers. I urge you, use it meaningfully. Apply it to the spiritual path." Okay, so this is really telling us to make the focus of our life the spiritual path. Yeah, the great masters don't make any ifs, ands, and buts about it. And it's not like they're trying to force us into doing something that is coercive and bad for us and so on. What they're really trying to do is say, you know, you have this opportunity and it's very valuable and it's difficult to get again, so use it. You know, it's like you have a credit card with no limit and somebody else is going to pay it. Don't, like, you know, sit around and twiddle your thumbs. Go shopping and get everything you want, you know, and really shop until you drop. Because it's the only time you have this credit card that somebody else is paying with no cap on it. Okay, so it's like the same kind of thing, you know, we can create incredible merit, you know, really learn the teachings, make our life highly meaningful, so go for it. Yeah? So, you know, sometimes the masters are also, they're very delicate with people sometimes, you know, and so some people, you know, are unsure, well, you know, is the Dharma really that important? And, you know, I also have my other things that interest me. Dharma is just one thing, and so, you know, can I combine the Dharma with the rest of my life? And of course the masters say yes, you know, of course. You know, better do something than nothing at all. And so, you know, if you're going to have a family, if you want to have a career, if all these things are really important to you, then yes, do those, but do them with the Dharma mind. Try and have a good motivation, you know. Generate your good motivation in the morning, do some purification in the evening, take some time out to go to Dharma class and do retreat from time to time, you know, and just generally kind of, you know, try have a kind heart. And so, you know, of course, that's what they encourage everybody to do, regardless of a person's interest in the Dharma. Okay, but when you're somebody who says that they're really interested, then our teachers say, okay, if you're really interested, then go for it. Don't you know, kind of be piddly-dink about it, and you know, make your life meaningful. Yeah, and so of course, you know, do the same thing of cultivating your good motivation and everything before you do things. But be even more meticulous than that, because sometimes we cultivate our good motivation before we do something, but we don't really check up after we did it if we carried the good motivation through or not, or we don't check up if some kind of affliction came up in the middle, you know. Yes, I generated my good motivation for offering service, but in the middle of it, I got really ticked off at somebody. Or in the middle of it, I was pretty arrogant because I thought I knew the best way to, you know, put the loppers away. Or, you know, or in the middle of it, I got really jealous because somebody else could pull more weeds than I could. Or, you know, I mean, afflictions kind of come up over everything. Yeah, so, you know, if we're really committed to the Dharma, then we really look through our day very meticulously and try and pick out all these things so that we can continuously use our life to improve our practice, okay? And we also make sure, if we really care about the Dharma, you know, and it's a priority in our lives, we make sure to go to teachings, we make sure to go to retreats, you know? I used to hear when I lived in Seattle, like, oh, I have to drive a half an hour across town to go to teachings. You know, it's so long, I'll just meditate at home. But of course the meditation doesn't get done at home because there's other stuff to do at home. You know, and I hear that and it's like, oh, a half an hour across town is too long to drive. And I think of how you know, when I encountered the Dharma, there were no Dharma centers in the U.S. I had to go halfway around the world, you know. And you know, so just people's priorities, you know. So don't let kind of, you know, having to drive a little while or having to use your vacation time for Dharma instead of lying on the beach, you know, don't see that as a loss. See that as something that's really good for you. Yeah. And for those of us who have made a stronger commitment, then, you know, to really hold to our commitment and not just kind of ride on things saying, well, I'm ordained, so yeah, every time I'm not breaking my precepts, I'm creating virtue, so that's good enough, you know, and in the meantime, I'll, you know, kind of surf the web and hang out with lay people and chat about politics and sports and things, you know. So instead of, you know, just kind of thinking like that, you know, see, oh, but I have this opportunity to really practice now. And so again, to make good use of it and take advantage of it. Yeah, because it's really for our own benefit, isn't it? You know, sometimes when we hear the masters encouraging us to practice, we feel kind of like, oh, they're guilt-tripping me, you know, I'm going to go to the hell realms, and if I don't do this or that. And, you know, it's not like that. The masters have absolutely nothing to gain or to lose, depending on whether we practice or don't practice. So the advice they're giving us is out of compassion because we care. So, you know, let's not from our side create some kind of thing of, well, they're just saying that because they're Buddhist teachers, or they're you know, they're pushing me, or whatever. You know, that's not the case at all. They're really talking out of compassion. You know. Of course, we have to do things at our own speed. You know, and we get all sorts of instructions that we may not be able to put into effect immediately, yeah. And so in that case, don't dismiss those instructions and say, well, they're not really important and blah, 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 blah. Say, you know, I really respect them, but I'm not capable of doing that right now. So I'm going to practice where I'm at right now and build up my strength, you know, my inner strength. And then because I respect these things, may I be able to practice them in the future. Yeah. And so in that way, we you know, we're steering our mind in the right direction. And there's nothing wrong with acknowledging that, well, you know, that's a little bit more advanced than I'm capable of right now. Yeah. But sometimes we're so proud, we don't want to say, oh, that's more advanced than I'm capable of. We say, oh, that isn't necessary, or that's just ridiculous, or we dismiss it. You know, so let's not do that, because if we do that, we're the ones who suffer. Yeah. So there's nothing wrong with saying, you know, I'm doing my best, and I'm glad that I'm doing that, and I'll take on that other practice later on when my mind is stronger. You know, when I'm able to do that with a happy mind. Okay.